Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to the channel where we talk about economics and crypto and lots of other fun things. As always, a free way you can support this channel. Hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification button so that you don't miss a thing. Smash up that like button, all the above. But anyway, let's go ahead and dive on into this. So let me preface this video by saying that tomorrow from the day that I'm publishing this video, within about 32 hours from the moment I'm publishing this video, a moment is happening, and I think most of you already know what I'm going to talk about, but a moment is happening that I have had circled on my calendar for something like 2 years, 2+ years. This is a once or twice in a decade kind of event, and it has to do with the FOMC meeting, possibly the biggest FOMC meeting in many years, where they are most likely, almost 100% likely to cut rates. And the question is, how much are they going to cut rates? Because right now, what's priced into the market is actually a 50 basis point rate cut, which I don't know, that's kind of scary to me, instead of a 25 basis point rate cut. So will they do 50? Will they do 25? That's up in the air. But then also, there's other things that are going to be happening over the next couple of days, like the Bank of Japan. They're meeting one day after the Federal Reserve meets. And will they keep rates at 25 basis points, or will they lower it back down to zero? Will the Federal Reserve announce an end to quantitative tightening? There are so many factors into this, and I want to give you my perspective as to what I think is going to happen and how that is going to affect the crypto markets and the stock market, et cetera, et cetera. So I do want to preface all of this by telling you, listen, if there was anything that I hold with the least amount of confidence, it is what is going to happen after they announce whatever they're announcing on Wednesday, September 18th. This can go in so many different directions. If you told me that you thought that Bitcoin would skyrocket after this FOMC announcement, I would say, you know what? You could probably make a case for that. If you told me that it was going to dump hard after this FOMC announcement, I would also say you can probably make a case for that. The fact that this is happening in September makes me lean in one direction, while keeping a bullish thesis for whatever is to come in October. And so what does all of that mean? Listen, my gut, and I am really this is a gut check video, what does my gut tell me? My gut feeling is that there is going to be a time over the remainder of September, the last 12 days of September, after that first rate cut, when you are going to be absolutely terrified, and I'm going to be right there with you. And so what does that mean? That means maybe some kind of a flash crash, maybe some kind of a lower scam wick on a lot of cryptocurrencies and some stocks as well, that has you convinced maybe that this is over. And whatever my mindset, whatever happens, I am firmly committed to this idea that I'm going to be holding into October, because I'm quite convinced that October, no matter what happens over the rest of September, that October is going to be a bullish month. But we don't want feelings in here, okay? We want fundamentals. And what are the fundamentals showing us? I mean, we see, my goodness, the Dow Jones has once again put in a new all-time high. Before recording this video, I saw the Dow Jones Industrial Average was at around $41,655, something like that. That's insane. The S&P 500, same deal. NASDAQ is lagging behind a little bit. Russell 2000 is still trying to climb, and that's the big one that I'm paying attention to in terms of communicating breadth in the market. Bitcoin is hanging around. It's looking at the charts, stochastic is overbought on the daily. I wouldn't be surprised if the stochastic RSI on the daily at least went down a little bit over the next few days and bottomed out, which means that Bitcoin would be flat or down over the next few days. And so what's going to happen? What's coming next? I'm a little bit nervous about the carry trade. So we saw the Bank of Japan on August 5th, or around August 5th, raise rates by 25 basis points, and that caused a lot of people who borrowed funds in JPY, Japanese yen, to flood back and close out their loans, because the carry trade, there was squeezing a little bit happening there. And so what happens if the Federal Reserve then cuts rates by 50 basis points and the margins are narrow for a time? Maybe that affects the carry trade, and that causes things to get just as scary as they were on August 5th. It's just, there's so many factors into this. And what happens initially, I'm just going to assume, is a fake out. Let's say that Bitcoin and stocks, they just pump like crazy immediately after whatever the FOMC announcement is. And then there's that 30-minute window between when the announcement happens and then when Jerome Powell speaks. And so maybe whatever happens first is a fake out. I don't know. And maybe whatever the case, I'm not going to be too excited about Bitcoin if it shoots off like crazy, because I'm just going to be nervous that first move is going to be a fake out. If it dumps really hard, I'll be nervous that first move is going to be a fake out. Whatever the case, I am not letting whatever happens in the market at that moment affect how I'm going to be moving with my assets. Now, of course, I'm holding. I am accumulating and I'm holding. Altcoin charts right now, they are bottomed out. They look bottomed out. I can show you multiple charts. Some of them are still in downtrends, but even the ones that are in downtrends, it seems to me like those altcoins have bottomed out, even though they're still in a downtrend. That August 5th, that liquidation wick on August 5th was the bottom, and that they're not going to go lower. But then most altcoins, large caps, small caps, not including meme coins, they look like they have bottomed out and are either, some are in an uptrend. Aave is in an uptrend. Alephium's in an uptrend. Velodrome is in an uptrend. Helium, uptrend. Some of them are just straight up in uptrends. Most of them are in a sideways chop. And I covered that in my most recent video, that you are no longer, at least on your large and small cap altcoins, you are not losing money. I know it still feels terrible, but you're not actually losing money on these. The meme coins, they still can go lower. Even the large cap ones like Pepe, they can still go lower. There's going to be a time when I get very excited about those. But even then, no matter what happens the rest of this month, I suspect that we are not going to see altcoins go any lower than where they've already bottomed out at. 98% of altcoins, personally, I believe that they have bottomed out. I am quite convinced that we are not going to see Bitcoin go to $44,000. That's the yearly open. And people would object. We've always retested the yearly open. Well, this time's different. We've had ETFs buy 400,000 Bitcoin, and they are generally accumulating still. It doesn't have to happen. This time is different. Ethereum, Bitcoin dominance. People have been asking me what I think is going to happen with Bitcoin dominance. I do believe it's going to go higher. Last I checked, it was at 58%. Bitcoin dominance is continuing to put in new highs, a 2024 high. Obviously not an all-time high. Its all-time high is 100%. That's never happening again. But Bitcoin dominance, this was a question in my most recent live stream. I'll answer it here again. I now believe that Bitcoin dominance will peak somewhere in the mid 60s. So from 58% to mid 60s. But you've got to remember, what does that mean? In 2020, Bitcoin dominance peaked into a Bitcoin rally. Okay, so it doesn't have to be one of these things where Bitcoin crashes and altcoins crash even more. I tend to think that, Bitcoin would have more room to go down than a lot of these altcoins. So a Bitcoin crash or a Bitcoin dump to the lower 50s or something like that does not necessarily mean that altcoins are going to go even lower. So what does that look like? Move up to new all-time highs for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's dominance puts in its final big run, and then altcoins get ready to move on their Bitcoin pairs. I think over these next few weeks, maybe a couple months, that's what we have in store for us. And it's going to be a really good time to be loading up, to be making gains on altcoins. But anyway, that is all I have for today. I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful rest of your week. I will see you in another video. Peace.